Part 2.
All right, 60 seconds. You want to go ahead and start? We'll just get ready for it. And as soon as you guys come up, just be welcome to the Allens. Like, greet everybody.
Turn those faces
Is it on? Is it on?
It ain't on yet.
You got it up?
Yeah, it's up. I don't know if it's up. Hosea. There we go.
There we go.
All right, greet the.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you got it?
We're live.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello,
Good evening,
Facebook
everyone.
world and radio world out there. We are
The Allens
the Allens, and we still have
and the Stewart's.
the Stewart's today. They are still sharing their story about surviving infidelity. Part 2, y'all.
It's 7 o'clock.
So remember, if you have any questions, feel free to ask questions at your leisure if you have questions about anything that we're talking about this evening.
Because we have our own that we're going to ask them because this is our first time hearing this as well.
Our new
And
story.
This
Ooh.
is very interesting to hear how a married couple can overcome infidelity, and just the many things that are involved with it. So this is what we plan to explore tonight with the Stewart's.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
All right,
We
y'all. Yeah, we ready for it.
I would like to ask the first question.
Oh, come on,
Okay.
come on.
I don't have anything too hard here.
No, we got to catch them back up because maybe they
Okay.
didn't get to see last
Okay,
week's
let's do
show. So last week they talked about how the infidelity began.
Right.
And this week we're going to talk about that separation process that happened after the infidelity happened. So if you didn't watch last week's show and you want to catch up on it, you might want to go check it out on the page because it's on there. And so this week we're going to be talking about their 26 weeks.
26 months.
Months, I'm sorry.
26
Months.
months separation.
Oops.
There's a big difference between 26
Oh, yes, it
and
is.
26
Oh,
months.
yes. A whole big difference. But we're going to be talking about their 26 months of separation.
Yes.
And what happened in that and how they were able to come back together. That's going to be good, y'all. I can't wait.
It's
I'm
going
ready.
to be intense, I'm sure. Well, not for us, just for y'all. We already lived it. We good.
Okay, so Jason wanted to ask the first guy. Maybe
You got
let him
something you wanna
start
say
talking
about
about it
Let
first.
me give just a quick, it's not a disclaimer, but I want to make a quick statement. When you think in terms of infidelity, I always note that there are two POVs concerning the two individuals, or whether it be the spouse's point of views. So sometimes people only hear or they create their own personal perspective from one point of view without talking to
Both parties.
both parties. And what from my own personal experience throughout this 26 months, is that there were people who gravitated towards my wife and just assumed that I was just this bad, terrible guy. And there were friendships that the separation was created because of the infidelity. We stopped talking. We did not talk for those 26 months.
Lifelong friends.
Lifelong friends, yes. Because once again, when you're the husband and infidelity happens, you're the bad guy. And
Right.
no one ever asked myself what was my perspective, what happened, how did the infidelity happen. They just assumed that one day I woke up and
He's a
decided
devil. That's what they were saying, right?
I was going to cheat on my wife. So that's that piece right there. Let's get into the 26
Let me
months.
say one thing. And they just assumed that I was just sitting around for the 26 months waiting for him to come back. They all assumed that I was in mourning and he was off living his life and I was not living mine. Let me put that out there. That is not correct. I lived my life. Just because I didn't live my life publicly, and his life was more in the public eye because of the conversations that were had, and people knew that the infidelity, the reason why we separated was due to his infidelity. I don't want anybody to think that I wasn't doing anything those 26 months. I was just at home laying in bed crying and wallowing in self-pity. I was not.
Probably not the case.
No, there was times that I was, but I don't want anybody to think that he just left me and I was distraught and broken and I stopped living, and that's not how it happened. I own my part in it as well. Okay, Mr. Jason, I think we're ready.
Yes.
Well, my question is a two-part.
Okay.
And
Who is it for?
it's concerning the kids.
Okay.
Because as you all were explaining last week, as we were closing out the show and talking about the 26-month separation,
Yes.
that's one thing that really hit me. Because considering that you all have a blended family
Blended.
and bringing
That's
everything
good.
together,
Yes.
the work that you all had to do to bring
To
everything
blend
together.
the family, yeah.
My first question is, as far as when you all let the kids know what was going on, their emotions, their feelings, considering that. And the second question that I have is, what did it take as far as when you all came back
For the kids?
to get the kids back to where they felt safe?
I don't think anybody's ever asked us that.
Wow.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Let's-
That's a good one,
Let's go
baby.
with the first question, part one. With the kids, that night it was public, meaning that when I came home, and I think we talked about it tonight, I came home that night with the intention of reconciling my marriage. That was my intent. Unfortunately, it did not happen that way. Conversation started, argument started, bam, split decision made. You need to get out. Cool, I'm leaving. Kids were right there. So there was no conversation really with them in the beginning. Be like, me and Pops is taking we're just going to separate for a little bit, having some trouble in our marriage. We need to figure some things out. It was, bam, we're out of here. And it was put in the forefront, just like that.
It was. At that time, we were not mature enough to understand, or we chose not to practice maturity to understand the effect that this would have on our children.
Yes.
I think in the moment, as I said before, I was a very selfish individual. So at the moment, I was thinking about me, how I felt, how I was hurt, how I was embarrassed. So never in my mind did it register how this was going to impact my children. And I'm just being completely honest. All I thought was, I'm in pain and I want this to stop.
Okay. Then, okay.
Back together?
So, well, let's deal with this,
Now you
the
got
back
another question.
together later
Oh, okay.
as we're going
Okay.
through it.
I wanted to ask, did any of the kids have questions? Although you said it was out in the open, did they ask y'all what happened? And were you guys able to be open and honest with them about it? And how did they handle it? Was there anger towards one or the other in the situation, or no?
Yeah. There was anger. I believe my oldest son expressed it the most.
It
If
looked
I'm
like
not
somebody might have
mistaken,
asked the question, baby.
if I'm not mistaken, he was a senior in high school, so
It's
they were
Let's
what
just
were
see
they?
what I'm saying.
17. So they would have been 17, 15, 13, and 12.